up, we'll start off with the business session. We'll be having an educational session by DTM MU BAT on humorous speeches on the 21st of November, that is 2 weeks from today. I request everyone to be present and make use of this educational session, as our contest this term is going to be on humorous speeches. So I would request everyone to be present. And secondly, we are planning to have a club picnic on Sunday 27th of November. This will be at the Mango Mist Resort on Banerghatta Road. The charges will be rupees 1,600 per person. You are also welcome to get your families with you, and children below 12 years will be charged at rupees 750 per child, and this will be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. We will have a welcome drink, which is a cool drink, and a buffet lunch and high tea. There are lots of activities also there, like some zip line and walking above, all that. I think all the youngsters will enjoy. And this picnic will also help us to get to know each other better beyond Toastmasters. It's when we're away from this environment, it will be entirely different. So I think it's going to be a fun time. So I would invite all of you to join us for this picnic, and let's all have a good time. And please give your confirmations to membership, Vice President membership, Toastmaster Sanjana Prabhanjan, before November 14, because this is a Sunday and there will be a lot of demand there and rush also. We need to give a confirmations. So you have 1 week to decide. So I would request all of you to participate, give your confirmations positively. I now request Vice President Education Toastmaster Gaurav to give his updates on the role takers for the next week.
Very good evening, everyone. So for the next meeting, there are two role takers which are being booked by Toastmaster Shiva and Toastmaster Mohammed as two speakers. So there is one MC, one speaker, three individual evaluator, one table topic master, and the so anybody interested in contact.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. With that, I would like to hand over the charge to the Acting Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Shiv Prasad.
It would be great if the speakers who came to speak at the lectern would not be disturbed by unnecessary sounds, and one method to ensure that is to turn off your favorite or put on silent your favorite means of communication, your mobile phones. Please do it right now if you haven't done it. Okay. A very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Methods and means. Let us say, in a hypothetical situation, I just spoke about our means of communication, the mobile phone. The meeting had to start at 6:30 p.m. and we didn't have a couple of role takers come to the meeting. And the time is 6:20 p.m. right? And it is my duty to call up that person and see what is what. Now I have two methods to do this. One is I give them a call and I say, "Hi, will you be coming?" Now this is a very soft method. I am giving that person a choice, right? They may say I will come, or they may say I won't come. Now there is a second method, a more aggressive approach. "Hi, where exactly are you?" Right? Now I am not giving them an option. I have assumed that they have left their house, and I am assuming somewhere they are stuck in traffic or lost in Tyagaraja Nagar, something I can understand. Now think and tell me, what do you think is the better method in this case? Everybody for method 1 and everybody for method 2. Yes, a lot of aggressive people in the room. Now, this was just one decision. what method to use in this situation. But in our day-to-day lives, we have to choose which method hundreds of times. For example, do I give a treat to my friends on my birthday, spending 3,000 rupees, or is there a better method to retain their friendship, right? What you have to ask yourself is, do the means justify the end, or does the end justify the means? I'll let you think about that, and I'll tell you one thing which is definitely justified is introducing a person who has a method of speaking in a very dignified manner, and she also uses all the means at her disposal to serve the society. She's actively involved with an NGO called Inner Wheel, which is the world's largest women's voluntary service organization. For the last 15 years, a science graduate with a postgraduate diploma in systems management. In Mekong, she has served as a Sergeant at Arms, Secretary and Associate VPPR earlier. She's also managing a Gavel Club for young adults. With a big round of applause, please welcome our President, Toastmaster Lalna Murthy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiv Prasad, for that wonderful introduction as always. Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Sir, you are a guest or you have enrolled as a member? Yes, please introduce yourself.
Good evening to all. This is Ramakrishna for the second time. I work for a company, Webtech Corporation. So I'm coming here to improve my communication.
Welcome, sir, and we hope to see you as a member soon. I now request Secretary Toastmaster Shiv Prasad to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
Thank you, President. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1185, held on the 31st of October 2022. The theme was Firecrackers, Word of the Week, Benevolent. The business session started at 6:38 p.m. and was chaired by President Toastmaster Lalna Murthy. In the business session, the following points were addressed. The Vice President Education, Toastmaster Gaurav, mentioned that all other roles were open for the next meeting, apart from 2 speech slots and table topic master. Interested members were requested to contact him for the same. DTM A.K. Prabhakara requested for the erstwhile practice of members confirming their attendance before the meetings to be resumed for the benefit of roll takers. The regular meeting started at 6:40 p.m. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Sanjana H.A. started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster Lalna Murthy. The President opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Shiva Prasad. The Master of Ceremonies spoke on the theme and introduced the following roll takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, Accounter Toastmaster Mamata, Grammarian Toastmaster Sai Snehal and EP Evaluator DTM MU Bhatt. Prepared speech session had the following speech. Toastmaster Jyoti Rao attempting level 1 project 3 and was evaluated by Toastmaster Nagesh. The Moments of Truth session was conducted by Toastmaster Sanjana Prabhanjan. The table topic session was conducted by DTM Subramaniam and had 9 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by DTM Udanka. The winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Jyoti Rao, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Nagesh, Best Table Topic Speaker DTM A.K. Prabhakara, Best Roll Taker Tapji Toastmaster Sai Snell and Best Roll Taker MTG Toastmaster Shiva Prasad. The President closed the meeting at 8:47 p.m. which was followed by the National Anthem. Thank you and back to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiv Prasad. Do we have any amendments to the minutes? If not, I'll consider it as accepted and open meeting number 1186. As we all know, the theme today is method and means. In construction parlance, this term is used to describe the techniques and tactics employed by a contractor to complete the construction of a structure or a project. Though both the terms seem similar, my understanding is method is a procedure followed to achieve something. It's usually an orderly, logical order or arrangement, which is usually in steps. Whereas the means or the equipment or the instruments to complete a task or an activity. To complete any activity or a task or an event, we need to plan and have a plan of action and visualize how we are going to go about achieving this, whatever we have planned to do. I would like to give the example of an inter-district inner wheel event which we had organized recently on the 4th and 5th of November. This was a 2-day friendship meet, and people were coming from all over India, from different states, from Delhi, Punjab, Calcutta and other places, and some of the places in Karnataka as well. And for this event, we had to organize entertainment and also some motivational sessions with interesting speakers. We also had to organize a meaningful service project as we are a voluntary organization. We started planning for this event about 6 months back. First of all, we identified a person as the convener, and that person would be the overall in charge of the whole event. We then had committees under different heads to take care of various responsibilities such as registration, planning, venue, program committee, entertainment, decor. There's so many things, transport and accommodation for the delegates who were arriving from outside, then technical and computer support, which is very important, as how we have our Sai and Udanka and everybody here. That's the most important thing. We organize everything and then suddenly some glitch is there, then it will be a problem. So we had various people heading all these things. And then we also had to select a venue for the event, which would be in the center of the city, which would and be easily accessible to everyone, as people had to come from various places. I can't have something in some Dayanand Sagar auditorium or somewhere where from north side for people coming here in the traffic and all, it will be a difficult problem. So we also had to plan a proper venue for this. And then we also had to coordinate with some of the hotels that also had to be close to the venue to organize booking for the delegates who would be coming and staying here. We started having regular meetings to chalk out the programs and discuss the plan of action. For the entertainment, we decided on Dr. Sanjay Shantaram and his dance troupe for the dance drama, which is called Apurva Bharatam. This depicts the dance forms from all over India, from north to south. We thought this would be apt as we had pan-India delegates and everyone could relate to it rather than having a program only about Karnataka. First we had thought, since it's November month, we can have something about Karnataka, but then we decided against it after discussing and all that. After deciding on Sanjay Shantaram, of course we had to also decide on the venue. We fixed the venue as the town hall and we booked it in July itself, because it is very difficult to get such places. For the second day's program, we had to identify some good speakers also. One speaker we thought we'll have from Inner Wheel only. She was an international Inner Wheel dignitary, and she agreed to come and address us on Inner Wheel and other things. The second speaker we decided to have Geetanjali Kirloskar, who is a well-known businesswoman, and she would speak on women empowerment. As for the service project, we thought of recognizing the founders of Mitti Cafe, who run a chain of restaurants for people with disabilities. They provide livelihood and economic independence with dignity to these disabled persons. So we decided to give about 30 wheelchairs to them, which was their requirement. And planning a program and all is fine. We had fixed different programs for the 2 days and the venues were fixed. But then having members to register and attend this event is the most important thing. Without the members and the delegates attending, you can't do anything. So then we had to keep on publicizing this event, not only in our district but in other district as well. And we had to highlight the attractions. In between, we had planned a comedy act by this well-known ventriloquist Indushri. For us it is common, we would have seen on TVs and all, but for people coming from outside, they really enjoyed that comedy act by her. And then we also, being ladies, no event is complete without shopping. So we also had organized a shopping arcade where there were various stalls to cater to the needs of different people, such as clothes, saris, decor items, jewelry, artifacts for the people coming from outside, etc. So finally, once we got the registrations of the members, all this helped. We had designed posters and all these were being posted on different WhatsApp groups all the time. So finally we were successful in getting the number of delegates what we wanted, and after we got the registrations, then and their accommodation details also we had to get. After that, we had to start planning for the pickup and drop from the airport and railway station for so many people, around 100 people. And after all this, we got some member volunteers from our own clubs to lend their cars and drivers to do whatever, to do the needful, like go to the airport and railway station and pick them up, drop to the hotels, and again bring them to the venue and all that. All that was done. Finally, after months of planning and hard work and a dedicated team of members, the committee members, we managed to pull this event off very successfully on the 4th and 5th of November, just 2 days back. 4th November was the event in Town Hall, and 5th November it was in Shangri-La, Hotel Shangri-La. So it went on very well, I should say. But then it would not have been possible if we did not have the method and means. The method was to organize the various committees, have them in place and assign various responsibilities to them. The means was how these committees executed the responsibilities which was assigned to them and made this a successful event. So dear Toastmasters, let us remember that there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, planning and hard work. So let's have our method and means in place and make it work for us in whatever we want to do. To tell us more about the theme and to take this meeting forward, we have a Toastmaster who is an electrical engineer and retired as the Joint General Manager of Mekon. He is one of the pillars of our club and also a founder member. In fact, he was the 3rd president of a 23-year-old club. He has mentored a lot of members, not only in our club but in other clubs outside in the district as well. He has also conducted various workshops and educational sessions for many clubs in our district. For me personally, whenever I see him behind the lectern taking up any role, it's always a learning experience. Please put your hands together and help me welcome the Master of Ceremonies for the day, DTM A.K. Prabhakara.
She has not yet tapped, I will do that for you. There was this problem. 2 guys trying to impress one girl. The love triangle. One was a doctor, other was an engineer. Whenever their eyes met, the girl would look at the other way. Not able to really impress her, draw her attention, doctor devises a plan. He starts offering her 1 rose. Every day you meet 1 rose. Out of just civility, she used to keep it in the purse. Seeing this, the engineer thought he is lagging behind. So what he did, he started offering her an apple. That was very strange. Again, out of civility, she would keep. Then the curiosity got better of her. She said to the engineer, "Why are you offering me this apple?" For that, the engineer said, "Apple a day keeps doctor away." That sums up. If you see, apart from this PJP, the joke, there is a moral to this. That is, the method followed one by the doctor was typical, and other by the engineer was method was same, but the means and the medium was different. Everything was same, but method is same, approach is same, the means and medium was different. It made all the difference and it served the purpose. There was ice breaking by her and both of them laughed and the job was done. The link established. Madam President, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. Let me switch over to a serious research, science research area. Whether this works or not, let us test it there. It was late 1960s, Vietnam War was at its peak. Vietnamese soldiers were dying more because of malaria than bullets. The Vietnamese government, desperate for a solution, they wanted to know whether the standard treatment to overcome malaria, treat malaria, was to give chloroquine. But that was not working because the malarial parasite had become resistant to that drug. So in a sort of desperation, the Vietnamese government turned to Chinese government. Chinese government formed groups of researchers, and one of the group was headed by one young pharmaceutical researcher, and she was given the name researcher, but she was not a trained researcher. She didn't have a PhD, but she had a pharmaceutical background, and that person already married, 2 children, and she also, by that time she took over the worldwide research. They had tested 2.5 lakh compounds to test as a drug, but they were not successful. And they had even tested a medicine mentioned in 4th century CE in Chinese document, which said that there is one wormwood, a commercial name for it, a wormwood plant. If you dip it in water, maybe warm water, it has been mentioned in the passing, and if you give it to the person who is having frequent fever, which is in 4th century it meant malaria, there was no name for it, he or she would be cured. That's what it stated. She also tried that. What was the method that all had tried, and she also tried, was to take out the compound from that wormwood plant by boiling it in water. The residue would be considered as something of a drug and was being fed, but it was not working. As usual in worldwide situation, the mice and the monkeys in the labs had died in thousands. In her case also, few of them died. Then she brooded over it, thought over it, then she took over something of a seldom used method, or a different method, different means altogether. She said, if the water boils at 100 degrees C, if she were to be taking another medium, a liquid, which boils at lower temperature, then check it. And she found that ether is the one that may be useful. Ether is something that a liquid that boils at 35 degrees centigrade. She boiled it, the residue was taken out, and it was given to, as usual, mice and monkeys in the lab, which had already been infected with malaria. They thought, they watched, they were all cured. Presto, the discovery had been done. And the next was human trial. Should she ask the subordinates, the bachelors, who can be guinea pigs? Then she thought it may not be right. Why she considered others? First is that she has 2 children. And then she thought, okay, my mother can take care of that. So let me be the first one to take it. Then seeing that she is going to take, and she got the malaria, Another two from her group volunteered. She inspired them, and they said they will join. They also got themselves malaria. They tried it on themselves. Fever was there. After some time, everything subsided. They were cured. They had discovered what came to be known as artemisinin, a compound that was derived out of wormwood that was mentioned in 4th century CE Chinese document, Chinese medicine. It is besides the point to say that she got Nobel Prize in 2015. She's still living, she's 90 plus years today. The point I am trying to make here is the method was same, means and medium adopted was different. In 1905, one young man was somebody who believed oral communication is not just an art, but it's a skill, it can be developed. The question was means to adopt. What is the best way to learn? He kept on tinkering with that. He was in Illinois at that time and kept on tinkering. He established one club, two club. It didn't work the way he thought. Then finally in 1924 in California, in a basement of YMCA, he started a formal club the way we are seeing it today. And he thought, he had not given the name yet, he thought that mutually supportive ambience is going to really deliver the required oral communication skills. His goal was to make oral communication a worldwide reality. And he was Ralph C. Smedley. Not to say we have understood by this time. Over a period of time, nearly 100 years now, over 4 million people have benefited from this program. Today we have this Toastmaster movement or clubs in 144 countries with 282,000 members in 14,800 clubs. A typical Toastmasters meeting has 3 sessions. A project speech session followed by table topic session with a break in our club for networking. We have a feedback session, a general evaluation or evaluation session. First of the project speeches, this speech session today, in this project speech session today we have 3 speeches. To support me through this process, we have role takers, TAPG team. TAPG's team is timer, counter, grammarian and parliamentary procedure evaluators. Now I request timer to explain his role. Please come over to this place. And timer, Raja, please come over here. You are comfortable explaining there, or you can, you want, please do the come drop.
Right, thank you everyone. So I will be the timer. Time, when we think about time, time is something once it is spent, you can't get it back. And when we think about the secrets of the universe, right, time and space are like the important factors. And I don't know if you have seen I'm sure like many of you have already seen the movie Avengers, where Thanos actually goes for different stones. And though there are many stones, I consider the time stone as the most valuable. And there is one scene in the movie where he actually brings back the stone which was already broken by the vision stone is broken, where he brings it back. So time is so important. So today I'm glad that you have given me the timer's role. So what I will be doing is I will be checking the speaker's time, like how they are speaking, and I will be raising intermittently like these 3 cards, which is the green, yellow and red. The green one is it depending on, like for example, if it is for the table topics, it is between 5 to 7 minutes. I will be raising in the 5th minute I'll be raising the green one, and then in the 6th minute the yellow one, and then in the 7th minute the red one. And I will be capturing all the time that is being taken by the different roles in the by different members. Over here I will not go through one by one, but I will be capturing all the time. Thank you.
He will be extending these cards at appropriate times, and as it is required, it will be read out. Thank you very much. Our counter, Ujjwal.
A very happy evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. The purpose of an R counter is to note any overused words or filler sounds used as crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, and you know. Sounds may be or er. I'll give my report at the general evaluation session. Thank you, and over to you, MC.
Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator, Toastmaster, Sai Snehal Reddy.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is important to maintain the decorum and not to hurt anyone's feelings, and this is where my responsibility and role come today. As a PP evaluator, I'll be making note of certain means that you have to follow. They are kindly, we can talk about sex, religion, or politics. Kindly exit or enter only during applause. Keep your phones on silent. Since no online audience, yeah, that's it. I'll be giving my report during the general evaluation. Back to the
Grammarian, Toastmaster Shiva Prasad.
Well, your means to communicate might be English. Method depends on the grammar. My job today will be to make note of the good usages of English and the not so good usages where I'll suggest improvements. We also have a word of the day which is seldom, and one usage in the English language would be he had seldom seen a child with so much talent. I will be making note of both these things and giving my report in the general evaluation. Back to you, Master.
Now we dive into the first of the 3-session project speech session. The first of these speeches today is from Presentation Mastery Manual, Level 1, Project 2, Speech 1. I now request the evaluator, Toastmaster Jyoti Rao, to read out its objectives, purpose statement, and time allotted for the speech. Toastmaster Jyoti Rao, please.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. The project purpose is the purpose of this project is to learn or review basic method for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Notes for the evaluator, that is me. The member completing this project is working to write a speech with purpose. The speech they create must be well written and clearly focused. Their goal is to meet their expressed purpose statement with a well executed speech. About the speech, the member will present a well organized, well delivered speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech content and style should work well together. And over to the MC.
Time allotted 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes.
That's for the timer to note. The speech is titled Give It a Thought. The speech is titled Give It a Thought. The speaker is newly minted BCom graduate. She is entering the nation's workforce, and an unusual habit or hobby she has, and that is she is a mandala artist. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome the speaker, Pavani Siar.
If she's wearing a highly fashioned dress, look at her, too much overdressed and stylish. If she's wearing traditional outfit, she's trying to impress someone, maybe. Very, very fake, huh? If she's wearing simple clothings. She seems to be too poor. If she's wearing great classic costly attire, oh my god, look at her. Too much show off ashte. Everyone is special and unique, just like this flower is. Each person is different and each individual have their own preferences, perspectives, choice, interest, attitude, characteristics and many more. A very happy evening to all the fellow flowers. Judgments, judgments, judgments. When was the last time you judged someone? Maybe right now, judging at how well I have prepared or at my confidence level for that matter. Well, stop right there. Let me take you all a little deeper into this judgmental world. First of all, what is judgment? It's the ability to jump into conclusions. Within the first 7 seconds of meeting someone, our brain makes 11 different decisions about them. Judging is simply our attempt to create a hierarchy of superior to, inferior to, better than, less than, and to define worth for everyone and everything. You know, we have that inborn urge to be right, to be superior, and to be better than others always. Well, what are the criteria to judge someone? People judge you for everything. To name a few, people judge you based on your appearances, the way you talk, your likes, dislikes, your educational or professional background, with what kind of people you hang out with, are you alcoholic or not, what you eat. The list goes on and on and on. As we now know the criteria, why do you think people judge? Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. Our brains are weird. It's harder for it to think and understand as it requires deep compassion and an open mind. But at some point or the other, everyone have judged someone or have been a victim of judgment. After listening to all these, what do you think? Do you think we really have the right to judge someone? Whether it is circumstances, dislikes, jealousy, regardless of whatever the reason is, we definitely don't have the right to judge anyone. Let me tell you a small incident that happened a few years ago while I was traveling in a bus to a temple. There was a father with almost 20 to 25-year-old son who was sitting next to the window seat. He was enjoying his journey and he was telling his father like this. Appa, look there, the trees, there are so many coconut trees and there are so many coconuts, they are so tall, they are so amazing, Appa. Appa, but that side, the birds are flying so high, oh my god, they are so beautiful. And Appa, that side, that river is so long, oh my god, Appa, I am really enjoying all these. Then, there was a man who asked his father like this. What is this, sir? Why is your son shouting like this? Doesn't he have common sense? He's shouting and he's disturbing all the passengers here. He's disturbing, right? Yes. See, he's not just disturbing me, he's just disturbing everyone out here. Can't he keep quiet? Is he seeing all this in the first time in his lifetime? I think he's really mad. And I think, look at his age and the way he's acting. No discipline at all. This was his exact reaction. Then his father politely replied, Sorry sir, sorry about this. Yes, my son is shouting with excitement. My son was blind since birth, sir, and today he got his vision back. And I'm really sorry about this, sir. And he smiled. People judge others just like this. How often have we heard someone tell something like this, or how often have we mentioned something like this to someone? It is too awful, right? Without even knowing a person, we judge them. Earl Nightingale has rightly said, when you judge others, you don't define them, you define yourself. The world around you is like a mirror and reflects what you do as a person. Then, if we look at a person who is crying, we tend to assume he or she is weak. But why don't we give it a thought about what that person is going through? Or provide some mental support if possible. If we look at a boy and a girl together, we tend to assume that they are in a relationship. But why don't you give it a thought if they are just siblings or friends or cousins for that matter? If we look at a fat person, we assume he is a foodie. Or if a person is thin, we assume he or she is not having sufficient food. But why don't we give it a thought about what exactly they are? So, my dear fellow flowers, give it a thought before judging someone, because you can't judge a book by its cover. Thank you, and back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Madam, you don't have to thank us. We have to thank you. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. Let's give her a special round of applause. The next speech, the second speech in this session, is going to be from Dynamic Leadership Manual. Level 1, Project 2, Speech 2. To give out the evaluation, the evaluator is going to read out the project statements and also notes the evaluator and duration allotted. Welcome, DTM Udanka.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. The purpose of the statement is for the project. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply it to this second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he or she has applied the feedback received from his or her first speech. Notes to the evaluator, that's me. During the completion of this project, the member received feedback about her first speech, worked to apply the feedback to her second speech. About this speech, the member will deliver a well-organized speech on any topic and incorporate feedback from his or her previous speech evaluation. The member may choose to present the same speech or a different speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. Be sure the member gives you the notes or that you speak with the member before the meeting to discuss the feedback he or she plans to apply in the speech. Pay close attention to these parts of the members presenting while also providing a comprehensive evaluation to the speech as a whole. Timer, please note the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. Back to the Master of Ceremonies.
The speech is titled, It's Story Time. The speech is titled, It's Story Time. The speaker is a mechanical engineer from BMS College of Engineering, working in UD Trucks as project management for quality. She has again an unusual hobby of collecting postcards, and she has a record of posting a postcard from a post office at highest level in India, in Sikkim, in Himalayas. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome the next speaker, Sanjana Eche, to the podium.
Nadi kumbalave tarra purra. Oh pumpkin, let's go tarra purra. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome, dear guests. This is a story I grew up listening to. I used to listen to the story for almost 3 years every day. And today I want to share the story with all of you. And in the end, some reflections on the story. So let's start. Once upon a time, there was a grandmother. And this grandmother had a magical pumpkin. This pumpkin could take her anywhere and everywhere. And all she had to do was say those magical words. Nadi kumbalave tarra purra. That's all. The pumpkin would summon itself, she would sit in the pumpkin, and off they would go. So one day, this grandmother wanted to go to her granddaughter's house. She started preparing all the savories, podbade, chakli, and really yum besan ladus, and kobri mithai. So she packed all of them, and she said those magical words, and the pumpkin honestly came to her. She sat in the pumpkin, and zoop, she went to the granddaughter's house. Then the granddaughter was so elated looking at her grandmother. She welcomed the grandmother, they hugged each other, and then she asked her grandmother to freshen up so that she can go and prepare the meal. She ran to the kitchen. She was very excited. She foraged the kitchen. She could not find any veggies. That seldom happened to her. So that okay, fine. And then she went to the balcony and she was thinking, and then she saw a lovely pumpkin in the corner. So she thought, what a delight! There's a pumpkin here, and I was searching for vegetables in my fridge. So she took the pumpkin. She nicely chopped it. She made an amazing sambar out of it. Then she called the grandmother and she said, I've made a nice sambar out of pumpkin. So the grandmother was very proud of her granddaughter. Like, she just prepared such yum food. Then they had some good lunch, and then the grandmother slept. So next day, the grandmother, it was time to leave, and poor grandmother, she said, Nadi kumbalave tarra purra. No pumpkin at all. And then the granddaughter came to her and told her, yesterday the sambar I made was the one that was in the balcony. So the grandmother thought, yesterday I was so proud of her for nothing. So, like, okay, grandmothers always love granddaughters despite anything. She was also helpless. She took a BMTC bus and went back home. And this is the story. This is the end. So what did I learn from this story? Which was much more surreal than the story itself. The first thing was, this story helped me transform my imaginative powers. Because I listened to it so much, every time I heard it, and I would always listen to it as a bedtime story. So I would refine my imagination. Initially, I always made the grandmother small and she would go into the pumpkin. Then I realized there was a technical error there, because the story said the pumpkin is magical and not the grandmother. So that is when I started transforming the pumpkin and not the grandmother. Then there were times where I would go to the vegetable shop with my father and see which pumpkin was more maneuverable, which was the color of pumpkin that I have to imagine. And the age of the granddaughter has always been a problem. So whenever I tell the story, I imagine the granddaughter to be me. So when I was 7 years old and when I was listening to this story, I thought she was 7 years old, and I always thought, how could she cook? And I still think the same. So this refinement happened because of consistency, because I consistently heard the story. So the first lesson I learned was consistency is key. And the second one was, this was my first tryst with voice recognition and autonomous driving. My mother taught me that 2 decades ago, you can call out and the pumpkin can come and take you anywhere. And that can be a reality now. So I sort of regret that my mother was telling me all this without her knowledge, and all I worried was about the color of the pumpkin, the snacks the grandmother made. So that's a pity. So fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, I want to end with this note. When life throws a pumpkin at you, you might be on the edge of inventing a disruptive technology. Over to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana, for that wonderful animated speech. And let's give her a special round of applause. The next speech, the last one, the third speech of this session, is from Dynamic Leadership Manual again, Level 3, Project 1. And the evaluator for that, DTM MU Bhatt, please read out the purpose statement, time duration, and evaluator notes.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. This is a level 3 project, is a very important project. It's about getting outcome out of a negotiation. The purpose statement says the purpose of this project is for the member to learn about different types of negotiation and the strategies that can be used when negotiating. The purpose of this speech is for the members to share some aspect of a past or future negotiation in his or her life. This time for note for the evaluator is during the completion, the member spends time learning about different negotiation styles and strategies, reflected on a past or future negotiation in his or her own life. So it has to be well organized like any other speech, and it can be humorous, information, or crafted, or any style that appeals to you, but should not be a report on the negotiating project guidelines. That is the only thing it says. Time, for the benefit of timer, the time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you.
The speech is titled 4 Seasons. Speech is titled 4 Seasons. The speaker is a civil engineer, and he is a project management specialist in construction. He has been a teacher, trainer, mentor, coach, all rolled into one in his area of expertise. And not only that, in leadership and strategy, he is also advisor to many companies. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome the next speaker, Toastmaster Nagesh Ramamurthy.
It was for the 5th time in 5 months I was sitting on the seat number 5 in the bus taking me to Hyderabad. The seat was an aisle seat with the steps for alighting and boarding opposite to the windscreen. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Imagine yourself sitting on that seat for a journey of 12 hours in the night. The bus stops 3 times in the night, as much as time people have to wake you up when they alight and board. The light coming from opposite vehicle in that 2-lane highway glances at your face and turns off in the darkness. With the lowest volume, the cassette player next to the driver plays the music of Sagar in 1985. Enough to keep me and the driver awake the whole journey. 85, that is when was my formative years. I had nothing to do but sit quiet on that seat. That seat and the seat number 6 was booked by my architect boss, who sits on that seat number 6 and snores the whole night. As I said, all that I could do was accommodate myself to that situation. I told myself, the distance between me and my dream is sacrifice. I had to accommodate with the situation and let go everything for the relationship that I wanted to build with my boss and my future. But future was different for me. In 1990s, I got into competition. The IT came in, construction boomed, there was a lot of competition. At every chance I had to grow, develop, and perform for excellence, I raised my hand. And every race, almost every race, I kind of won. But there were some losers also. When I look back today, those days of competition had its struggle. Definitely had its struggle. I talk to myself, if you take out those struggles, you are taking out my growth. But as there were others who were losing, one chill morning of 2001, I was having my breakfast in Airlines Hotel, my favorite masala dosa. While I was about to finish that, a gentleman walks in and sits on the table next to me, the next table. Masala dosa for me is masala dosa. I ordered another one. He ordered his coffee. He got his bill first. I realized there was a commotion there. When I looked up there, he had an argument about the bill of his breakfast and the tea he had. It was exorbitant for him. But I recognized that person because in the previous decade somewhere he had lost in the race that I ran with him. I sat with him for 4 hours and discussed about our situations. When I started walking back to my office nearby, somewhere I held my head down in shame. I said, I might be on the right path, but I sit there for a longer time, I might be run over. I looked back for those 17, 20 years of my life. I said, this is the time for correction. I compromised with myself. My behavior, my habits, and some of my attitudes changed. I lost, but still I gained. That was my best years when I transformed myself in 2000s. But I still remember that bus journey to Hyderabad where I was sitting and wasn't able to sleep. All I could do was dream with my open eyes. Those days, what I dreamt was ESTs. I wanted to build the biggest project, the tallest project, the longest project probably, all ESTs, the costliest project. But it was in 2008 and beyond for 10 years, I got this opportunity to realize my dream which I had seen long ago in my formative years. You think it was because I changed I was able to do those projects? Not exactly. The environment around me, the people around me, the projects was so conducive. I also put my foot forward to do a bit of collaboration. Collaboration has power, you know. Great power comes with collaboration. So, I look at myself those years of some struggle, some sacrifice, some self-reflection, and also satisfaction beyond that I had it beyond 2008. So Toastmasters, negotiations are part of our lives. We negotiate every day. But there are 4 outcomes that now I enumerated. There could be struggles. there could be sacrifices, there are chances for self-reflection, and there are great chances of satisfaction. So next time you negotiate with a colleague or somebody in the club or a cart wala outside, think for the reason that you are negotiating and choose your season out of those 4 seasons. Back to you.
Thank you for that nice compact speech. In our club, the next session is table topic session, and in our club this is not negotiable, sir. You have to speak and they will be chosen randomly. And to conduct that table topic session, today we have a final year law student. She is a keen theatre artist, acted in plays both Kannada and English, and nothing can be negotiated as far as club membership is concerned with her. She is VPM membership. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome the table topic master of this meeting, Sanjana Prabhanjan.
Just a small correction. I just got graduated and not a final year student anymore. A very good evening to fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. So brace yourselves for this very exciting round of table topic session. So the purpose of table topic is to improve your impromptu public speaking skills for you to be a better speaker. Before getting started, I want to know what is very special about November, at least in our state. Yes, the answer is obvious. So my first topic is, are you a November Kannadiga or a proud Kannadiga throughout the year? So who better to start other than our very own Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Shiva Prasad.
Thank you, table topic master, for this wonderful topic. Kannada is not just a language. Even though Kannada is not my mother tongue, it is an emotion. You might have seen that even though at the lectern I speak in English, the moment I come to know that somebody knows Kannada, after the meeting, during the breaks, I immediately switch to Kannada. I don't care. I don't care if it is people might have made Kannada into a status symbol. Right? You go to other states, you go to Tamil Nadu, they won't leave you without learning Tamil. You go to Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, same case. Maybe not that much, but even there you have to learn. But in Bangalore, even after living here for 10 years, they would have managed happily with just Kannada Gotila or something like that. When there is a person whose mother tongue is not Kannada, but he can come here and speak in Kannada so proudly. Your mother tongue is Kannada. Why can't you do that? Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva. You always manage to wing it somehow. And the next topic is top 3 places in the city you would want to show a non-Bangalorean friend. I would now choose Toastmaster Sai Snehil to talk about the same.
Table topic master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. One thing I'm really proud of is being a Bangalorean. Whether it's my cousins who's visiting me from my native or my friend from another state, I always tell them the places that they need to visit. Be it for a nice breakfast, lunch or dinner, or visiting some place that they have never seen before, which is only present in Bangalore. It has always given me immense joy and pleasure. The one place that I would really recommend anyone that is coming from outside Bangalore to visit is Cubbon Park. That place is truly something to Bangalore. Located in the heart of the city, it feels like it is a home to a lot of memories, lot of places, lot of high court and library as well. This is one place which astonishes. The second being 11 p.m. night drive to Corner House. This is a must. The choice of your ice cream is left to you, but DBC would my preference. And finally, third one, take a nice ride across the city of Bangalore, although it's not complete, but in metro. You get to see a lot of places. There have been times I have taken metro from Nagsandra till Silk Institute just to see how Bangalore is. Takes about 40 or 45 minutes. But I have found out there are so many places that I was not aware that existed because of traveling in metro. These are the three places that I would recommend. Back to the M.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sari Snehal. I think all of us can agree conveniently on your choices. So, I've always had that one friend who speaks like, give me 5 minutes. It is the literal translation of ಒಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕೊಡು. ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ she'll call me. ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ. So, I mean, I do not want to blame my friend. I am guilty of doing the same thing. I want to know who is that other person who is guilty of doing the same thing. I would choose Toastmaster Ujjwal to comment upon the same. Have you used any sentence which is a literal translation of a local language?
A very happy evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Thank you, Table Topic Master, for giving me this topic. Firstly, when Toastmaster Sanjana started the table topic session, I was fully active because the whole topics were regarding Kannada. So I was just excited. So how it will go. So coming to my topic, I think speaking in Toastmasters, everywhere I will almost try to talk in Kannada itself because it's my mother tongue. So I am proud of talking in Kannada. And as she said, ಒಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕೊಡು. So I think for my friends, I'll be just woken up at that time, but I'll be just telling them just 5 minutes I'll be there, and literally I'll be going to meet them or to the college some 30 minutes after. So yeah, that's my take on the topic. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ujjwal. Well, your method and means of interpreting the topic was very interesting. And CTR versus Vidyarthi Bhavan is a never-ending debate. I would choose Toastmaster Pavani to talk about the same.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I had been to Vidyarthi Bhavan just only once. But I like to taste everywhere possible, and CTR I sincerely told.
Sorry?
CTR.
Do you want to try another topic if you are convenient with, or
No, I didn't understand what is
CTR is Central Tiffin Room.
Then I really didn't know. Sorry, it may not be a right topic.
Okay, I'll give you another topic. Your favorite touristy place in Karnataka?
Recently, recently in sense maybe 5 years ago, since last 2 years I couldn't go. We went to Sagara. That was my long distant cousin's place. We used to hear more about there whenever we meet in our relatives' home. And their language, their food, their culture, and everything was so interesting. We always wanted to meet them in their own home. So, few years ago, we all went with our family, and it was really that Sagara, that place itself has some magical liveliness where we always see in the city is completely different. Though those people, they were wearing the panche all the time. They don't even wear the regular trousers because it always rains and they don't. So, so many interesting temples like Ikkeri and Jog Falls, and I really loved their culture in their family, how lovely they speak with one another and all. So I like that Sagara trip in my Karnataka tours. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pavani. I think the next place for me to visit is Sagara. And moving on to the next topic. Reaching Mysore from Bangalore is faster than crossing the Silk Board Junction. Your take on the traffic in Bangalore? I think I would want to give this topic to one of the IT professionals seating in this room. Maybe Toastmaster Raja can talk about the same.
Thank you, Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmaster and guests. The topic that I have got is in Bangalore, it's about the Bangalore traffic. And everybody knows about the Bangalore traffic, how crazy it is. And after the COVID, there are many things that, it's not a good thing, right? COVID happened and a lot of bad things happened. But one of the things that everybody enjoyed or felt good about is basically like they are able to work from home, right? And myself, I'm from Chennai actually, but I stayed in Bangalore because of the weather. I didn't go to Chennai, and my mom kept calling me. I never moved out of Bangalore. And one thing is, it's the traffic that I don't get to face that every day, because the COVID has given that particular opportunity to work from home. It is a sad thing that it's a side effect, but at the end of the day, we are able to get at least one benefit out of that situation. So that's the first one that comes to my mind when I think about the traffic in Bangalore. So the second one is, if I just think about like the amount of fuel that is wasted when they are standing in traffic, and then the amount of resources that are wasted is it's really high, and it is contributing a lot to the global warming. So if there are better infrastructures in Bangalore, if they build like better infrastructures, it would be like really great, and we will be able to save the health of the earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Raja. We feel special because the suggestion or a perspective is coming from a person who is from Chennai, who has migrated to Bangalore for the weather. And the next topic is Canara Bank, SBI Bank and Post Office are the hangout spots for all the 60 plus people. I would like to give this topic for one of the senior citizens, and it is Toastmaster Veerabhadra.
Canara Bank Syndicate.
Canara Bank Canara Bank, Post Office and SBI are the hangout spots of the 60 plus people.
Indeed, it's a very good subject they have given. For me, nothing like hangout because I am always immersed in my work. There is nothing like hangout and other things. Either I go to sleep late 9 hours, I get a very good sleep. Remaining time, I spend much of the time in reading. Not only reading, I would like to memorize that one. That practice I am doing it. For your information, about 3000 sentences are there. If you ask me what is 920, what is 1050, I do that type of exercise. When I am doing that type of exercise, where is the question of hanging? So there is nothing like that one, sir. There is no, say time is very precious. You need to make use of the time. Moreover, some people ask, what are you going to do when you are 75 years? What are you going to do with this subject? So this is not the issue. You have to enjoy yourself. You must do the job what you like. It's my passion. I like it. I read it. I come to the Toastmaster to listen on wonderful speeches today. Really wonderful. I have not heard such a speeches more so from these young girls and that lady. So that is my this thing. Then where is the time for hangout? So you need not hang it out. Please make use of the time. Please make use of the time. You may be a senior or a senior citizen, 75 years, 80 years. See, you can see these two people, the way in which he conducts a master of ceremony. I have learnt a lot of it. I feel I have to do the same thing. So there is no question of hangout. Be energetic, be happy, enjoy the life, spend the time, live happily and die majestically.
Well, we always have one standing out man in the crowd, and that is Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa for you. The next topic is a very interesting one. How to win over Bangalore auto drivers into not paying 1.5 extra charge, famously known as one and off. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Jyoti.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Getting an auto without paying 1.5 off. I think with that, I have come quite a few times late night, maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, from my Mysore to Bangalore tour, and I've taken an auto. And like you smile and say, Auto Anna Are, you only have to go and drop me to the house because I have no other ways to go, then that is the first thing that he will take. I'm sure that he will take me to my destination. Otherwise, most of the auto people will say, no chance, I'm not going that side. Most of the time it is wherever we have to go, the auto people will not be coming there. So the moment you say, auto Anna, first thing is done. The next, once we are in the auto, what I personally do is start about film stars or politics. Though I have no clue about politics and no clue about Kannada film industry much, but make them talk and they go on so lovingly with full excitement. They will talk about, the last time I spoke about was Tiger Prabhakara. And they spoke for the entire 30 minutes of their journey about what all he had done, what all he had not done, why should he be praised and why and what all he did not do. And also we talk about the politics and how they have been, auto people have been deprived of their daily income because of Ola and Uber, knowing very well that they are making money, but they make it very sure that Ola and Uber has ruined their earnings. And by the time we land to the, reach my destination, they are so thrilled about talking everything. They will not realize that I have paid them whatever was on the meter and not off. Thank you, and over to the program.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyoti. I think all of us should enroll for a crash course session with you. And The next topic is Bangalore is the cosmopolitan version of unity in diversity, where you meet people of all sorts and all kinds. And this topic will be going to our one and only guest in the meeting. Yeah, please. Please come. So Bangalore is a place where you meet all kinds of people coming from all regions. So can you please talk about your experience in Bangalore and how the city has aided for different kinds of people coming from different places?
Good afternoon all. Bangalore is the one area where every community people are coming here, and they get the respect actually. Okay, suppose if you go to when I keep going to Chennai and other area, they don't much like actually. Even I'm working in Vasur. When I started my career in Vasur, they ask where are we coming, Bangalore. So they have to see like this. Okay, so this is the expression I got. Finally, with some friendship, I mingled. Whereas in Bangalore, they don't feel like that. Suppose if you are talking Tamil, they try to speak Tamil, even though they don't know. If they speak Hindi like that, so that culture is there. So, in my view, Bangalore is the one which loves accommodate all the language. So, thanks.
Thank you for such a wonderful take on this topic. Bangalore then and Bangalore now. I would want Toastmaster Vijay Upendra to talk about the same thing.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Good evening, Toastmasters. Welcome, guests. Bangalore then. I am born in this city only in the year 1960. I enjoyed my childhood. Wonderful, fantastic, great, memorable, unforgettable. Over a period of time, Bangalore has changed. That's what people say. It is not Bangalore has changed. It is the people who have changed. That is the reason we are seeing that lot of difference in Bangalore. I have seen the greenery in Bangalore, enjoying fantastic days then. Now I am repenting for having invited many people to Bangalore today. This is what today is. Then we played cricket to our heart's content. Today you find very less ground to play cricket or any other game for that matter. See, this urbanization or globalization, that's what affected Bangalore to this extent, and the level of pollution has gone to the worst possible way. Now, I feel that I should not have grown to this level, meaning thereby I have crossed 60 years. I should have gone back to the then Bengaluru. I would have enjoyed better, lived happily. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra. Our parents, uncles, aunts, or even grandparents keep telling, oh, nam kaladalli Bengaluru ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು. When I was at your age, I was studying under the lamp. So, this, when I was at your age, is universal, and it will be passed on to generations. Even though we all live comfortably with all the luxuries and other comfort, this lives on. So I would like to ask this topic about how you are going to be passing on when I was at your age to your future generation, and this topic goes to Toastmaster Gaurav.
Well, I have thank you, Table Topic Master, and welcome Toastmasters and dear guests. So when my parents used to say that you used to study under the lamp, I used to be like, why you used to study in the night and why didn't you study in the day? Because it will be, usually there will be a sunlight, you can study arams. Then why do you want to sit under the lamp and struggle and then tell me that you should study in the night, focus on your future? So nowadays what I've observed is, when I was a kid, I was very much into sports. My summer holidays used to be like, wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, go play cricket till 2 o'clock afternoon, come back home, have lunch, again go play at 3 o'clock and come back home at 7 o'clock in the night, sleep, and it repeats. It used to happen for 3 to 4 months at a time. So now what I've observed, I have few nieces and nephews who are like 2-3 years old, who are ready to go outside and play. So nowadays we used to enjoy playing cricket outside, but now they play cricket in tablet. I'm like, what are you doing? Just go outside and play. That is what gives you more energy. That is what keeps you physically fit. So many kids nowadays are so much into technology. Even I was into technology, but to an extent I was in control. Because I don't blame the kid, I actually blame the parents. So when I ask my cousins, like, why are you not allowing your kid to go play outside? They'll be like, it's so hot outside, what if it becomes dark? So what? Just apply sunscreen, just send him outside. The parents are restricting the kids. So if I become a parent one day, so I'm gonna tell my kid, no more tablet, no more cell phones. Just go outside, even if you become dark, it's okay. That's also one color. That doesn't matter if you're dark. So it's okay. Just go outside, just play. I'm not going to restrict anything. That's all from my end. Back to the table.
I think most of us of Gaurav's generation would advocate the same. Less screen time and more of outdoorsy activities. I had a very fun time conducting the session. I got to know a lot of perspectives about the city, about the language, about other means of life, and I would like to give back the charge to the MC, that is DTM.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, for conducting the table topic session in a very lively way. I would like to draw attention to what she mentioned as I went out to pick up a call. She said that she is a graduate. Okay, I remember that she had exam on 23rd of October, last exam, right? Have you received the certificate? You will be receiving, so you are not yet one. Second thing is, the reason I mentioned she is a final year graduate, there is a meaning to that, is that in the Mekon Communication website, that is what it says. I will never ask anybody what is your biodata, because it is there. It is there for this very purpose. I have asked 2 questions today. One to her, to know she has put a line, she is into theatre. What does it mean? Have you acted in play? I asked, and she said she has, and 5 such plays repeatedly in both Kannada and English. I made it a point to tell them. Otherwise, if I were to introduce that she is into theatre, I have also gone to many theatres as an audience or as an actor. I do not know. So it has to be precise. Second thing is, one other person, she has put introduction in her briefing that she has posted a card from highest levels. I asked her where, which Himalayas. I searched and the same name she gave. These are the only 2 questions, and I have not asked. I made it a point not to ask. It is for you people, the members, to update your profile. And some of you can, I suggested to Ujjwal that he is who has graduated recently, put a LinkedIn link also if you want. And somebody have kept it closed, the lock, you can keep it open. In case of such, you Google, it will be showing. So these are the things, small things that you have to do in order to be introduced properly. And if you are entering job market, people see what you are, and you can mention in LinkedIn what is the kind of person you are. Maybe you can mention Toastmasters also there. So this is just as a thought I should mention, and it's useful because I keep getting information. Udanka Arun Jain has updated his something in LinkedIn, it comes to me. I know he is doing some mischief there, I need to go there. So at least you be there in the world. You make the world happen. It is not that you should lag with information about yourself. Anyway, now that it is done and dusted, we are now breaking for 10 minutes, networking break. As soon as you come back here, please fill up the ballot so that your views are recorded there without prejudice. Now we break for 10 minutes. Timer to note, please call back with a bell. Thank you very much. Welcome back. We are now moving into the third session of this meeting, the feedback session. It will be conducted by one general evaluator. He is a graduate in metallurgy and material engineering from NIT Rourkela. He is a senior manager in Mecon in this office. He is a junior assistant to his wife as far as babysitting is concerned. He has a doting son, very young child. He has a sense of humor which is dry and unique to him. He treats every liquid same. Water, coconut water or 8 p.m. water. It's all same for him. Very likable, affable person. A past president, he has taken every role here. He considered Toastmaster values as he's almost an embodiment of that. Toastmaster values, respect, integrity, service and excellence. He has been holding the post of treasurer for nearly a decade plus. A remarkable person. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome the general evaluator of the meeting, Toastmaster Sandeep Kumar Baliar Singh.
Thank you, DTM A.K. Prabhakara, for warm introduction. Good evening, everyone. As sir had already informed that I have a boss in my house, so I will make sure that I am quick and finish this general evaluation session very quick. One of the speciality of our club is the tea, the lemon tea what we had. It is not, sometimes the method or mean is to make it more special, we reduce the temperature or make the snacks very spicy. So that is the method and mean for me. This general evaluation session, I will do everything except judging. So we had a speech today. To start off, before I begin, I would request you to fill in the ballots and for the best speaker, best table topic speaker, best role taker, and you can keep the best evaluator later. We will move. We started with the business session. There are few agendas in the business session of going to Mango Mist Park on a day outing for the club, and humorous educational session on humorous speeches by DTM MU is going to be held on 21st November. And VP had discussed about the role takers of the next meeting. Very cleanly done. The business session. We started with Sergeant at Arms. He set the tone with the means of communication by referring to mobile. I am a very big fan of our Sergeant at Arms because of his voice, his humorous anecdotes. He comes very witty response every time he comes behind the lectern. That's how he gathers the audience attention. That is the most precious thing. He had brief introduction to the theme, and and had an example how to tell about method and mean, and I saw many of the hands going up, so that showed that he had attention of all the members in this meeting, and he introduced the president of the club. As Sergeant at Arms, today's role was like cleanly everything was shown, the banners, the awards, the meeting was arranged in place. So it was a good job done by the Sergeant at Arms. So please give him a big round of applause. Coming to the president, there was guest introduction to guest Ramakrishna. There was reading of the minutes of the meeting, and the minutes of meeting was approved without any amendment. So great job done by the secretary, Toastmaster Siva Prasad. Coming to president's speech, as always, president is very sees someone who you can listen to without any fear or anxiety. He comes with a smiling face and delivers her speech. So that's the best, one of the very good characteristics of our Toastmaster Lalana Murthy as the president of the club. And today's speech was information on her arrangement of the program on Inner Will. If, for example, if I had to give some suggestion for the president's role, or I would have been the president for today's meeting, I would have chosen a speech which would have been added some value to today's knowledge. Let us say, let us take example of Vietnam War, what MC quoted today. So none of us, majority of us were not aware of that fact. So he brought that fact for us, and it was interesting for us. And sometimes it becomes little interesting and motivating for us to try something in lines of someone who had done a great thing. So that is what I would have. Your speech was almost for 7 to 8 minutes on one program. There was lot of committees, there was a lot of means by which the event was successful. I would have added this incident or this anecdote to make the speech in full total. So that is my take for the president's speech. Otherwise, president's role as a supervisor of the club, she has been very encouraging of the other executive members, and people, one good thing about her is people look up to her to become as a president. So that is the character, that is the personality of the president. So please give her a big round of applause. We will move on to the speech session evaluation. We have 3 speeches, and I would request first speech evaluator Toastmaster Jyoti Rao to give her evaluation.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Sandeep. Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and particularly Toastmaster Pavani. That was an excellent speech, particularly the beginning, where she said, "You dress well, and they will talk about it. You do something, and they will say something." That was amazing, where she moved her position and delivered what the comments or judgments would have been. So that really started the curiosity as to what the topic is. Give it a thought. Throughout the speech, your clarity of tone, gestures, and movements was remarkable. It was like you were very comfortable behind the lectern, and there was no pause, or there was not a moment where you showed that maybe you could have had a butterfly in your stomach, but that did not come out anywhere. And the other part where you would maybe want to work on is the eye contact. What I saw that you were looking everywhere, you were not gazing at the wall or anywhere, you were looking around, but the actual eye contact with any person member was missing. So that is one thing that you can work on, and to challenge yourself. What I personally think was the connecting or the transition, particularly this one incident in the bus where you spoke about the boy who exclaimed and screamed about the beauties of the nature, and then you abruptly stopped there and you started with your next sentence. There you could connect it, like we could, instead of exclaiming such a thing, the person could have asked, what makes your son scream like that? And then you could have started the next sentences that we never ask people why they did whatever they did, what made them do that, but we assume and start judging with our own mindset. So that would have connected the that one incident that you spoke about. But all in all, a wonderful impactful speech where it really makes us think not to judge, particularly 7 seconds, and we start judging. And I'm sure if not any one of you, I'm judging myself that I did this evaluation very well. Thank you, and over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyoti Rao, for constructive evaluation of the speech. For the speech, I have only give and take relationship. I had two information from the speech. Thinking is difficult, so people judge. I will keep it in my mind. When you judge, you don't define others but yourself. So these are the two information I would love to keep in my mind. And I would give you an information. When you choose stories in your speech, for me, I felt the same story I have heard a lot of times, maybe because I am a member of 12 years. So that's not your fault. But I would request all the members, when you choose a story, you do some sort of research, like 30 minutes or 35 minutes. So at least you make sure that 30% of audience, if very learned, they know the story. Other 70% they don't know. So you will have at least 70% audience's attention. Because once you, the same story, the elephant story, it was chained to one this thing, and still it is not coming out. So the same story, if you pick, and I mean, at least audience like me will be okay. So if you are trying to give a story, do some research, give a story which many of us do not know. That will first increase your credibility, and it will help us to have more information, and for that only we have gathered here. So this is give and take relationship. Give her a big round of applause. Coming to the next speech, I would request evaluation DTM Udanka to give his evaluation for the second speech.
Good evening once again, and Toastmaster Sanjana HA in particular. I'll be evaluating your speech in 3 ways: the points where you excel at, the points where you can improve on, and the points where you can challenge yourself. Before I start off the evaluation, I would like to mention the points which she had received from the previous evaluator was to improve on her vocal variety. Now to start off with the points which you improved on, that's the storytelling method. From your icebreaker speech, your Sergeant at Arms address, have been observing storytelling is your cup of tea and you do it really nice. So you chose that method to deliver your speech. That's a really good point. You chose your comfort level. That's a good one to take. And this start you gave here, when everyone were waiting for you, you had one good start too. the chanting of that magical words, they actually got the audience attendance. So we were like, okay, she's explaining something, but we started off with something new for us. So that's a really good point. Third is the takeaways what you gave from your stories, how you concluded the speech or how you concluded your story to the what you had to give out. That was really good point done. Now coming to the points you can work on. One is the title of your speech. So when you mentioned it's story time, it was obvious that you are telling a story for us. So we, especially me, had lost a little interest because it's a story. So I knew it was a story, and my mindset was all set for a story. So instead of that, if you could tell it as the chanting, what you mentioned here, or the magical, or something like magical pumpkin, that would hold the audience curiosity. Okay, what is she trying to tell? What is the message she want to convey? That curiosity would have been more in the audience. That's the first point. Second point is the eye contact. Definitely you had a complete audience coverage in the eye contact. I would not say that. This side was very much, and you came to this, within a jiffy you are back to this part. So this part of the audience you covered definitely, but not for a much longer time, I would say. Third is the ending. You ended saying like, I would like to end my story. So you don't need to mention to the audience that you are ending the story. Rather than have a quote which would end this story, which you had definitely, but that phrase, that saying I would like to end, was not needed for you to that. Now coming to the point, you can challenge yourself. Vocal variety. Again, it's a vocal variety. I would definitely say that you have improved from your previous speeches or the addresses what you have given here, but it could have been a little more, because you have improved it a little bit, but you can take it to a next level so that your interest, your audience interest is much higher, because you are a good storyteller. Vocal variety plays a very important role. For example, you said how could she cook at age of 7? It was like, how could she cook at age of 7? Rather than if it is more aggressive or more like shocking, say like, how could she cook at the age of 7? So the difference it made was really it will impact the audience. So with that, definitely I would say you have worked on your vocal variety and you have implemented the feedback from your previous speeches. With that, all the best for your future speeches, and back to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Sandeep.
Thank you, DTM Udanka, for the evaluation. I'm sure that Sanjana is going to take those evaluation and positive spirit and work on. The thing I take from your speech is, when a life throws a pumpkin at you, you may be at the age of inventing a disruptive technology. That's very encouraging to handle any demotivating situation or very depressing situation. Good job done. Please give the evaluator and the speaker a give 2 rounds of applause. So coming to third speech, I would request DTM MU Bhatt to give the evaluation of the speech.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, and Nagesh Ramurthy in particular. Negotiation is a very, very important project, because negotiation is part of life from our birth to our death. You cannot avoid, whether it's a children to parent, whether it's a person to person in the youth, or in your jobs, or further in society, you cannot avoid negotiation. And negotiation has got its own methods and means. And methods in negotiation is concerned with negotiation styles, whether it is competitive, accommodative, compromise, or collaborative. These are the styles of negotiation, and means there are several how you are carrying out that negotiation, that deals with the strategies adopted. Now, how our Toastmaster Nagesh has fared in your speech, let us come to that. One thing first, let me congratulate in giving us slight of an intellectual touch to the topic. Very nicely done. And what I really liked your speech, which I appreciate, is of course I've seen you how you evaluated last week also. You have your speaking skills are not excellent, but are exemplary. Your body language, your voice modulation, the comfort level behind lectern, the way your eye contact, exemplary. I don't have anything to say on that. Excellent speech making quality. Very nice. Now, I would only like to comment about how you dealt with a particular subject of negotiation. So you talked about your theme was also, you decided about the topic, you called it as 4 seasons. Actually, I don't know whether the audience got what the 4 seasons are. Somewhere it is missed, I think. That I will come to later, because he primarily dealt with the 4 negotiation styles. That is competitive, accommodative, compromise and collaborative. The competitive is something, what you call a struggle, if I am right, and accommodating is about sacrificing, and compromise is about self-reflection, and collaborative is about getting satisfaction out of something. This if I understood right, this is what is that. I don't know to what extent it has reached the audience. I am not very sure really, because I felt it was bit on the higher intellectual level what you dealt with. But what I really liked was the way you dealt, particularly the compromise part, your accommodation part of it. Very, very vivid imagination. That Hyderabad bus travel, which was really right in front of our eyes. You can see, you must have observed it in that, how you struggled, and the boss sitting next to you and snoring, and how you are going to negotiate with him to stop it. It is something impossible. And that is, accommodation is the only solution, because relations are important. Accommodation is about relationship. Maintaining is become the top priority. In that context, he accommodated himself, he suffered throughout then and started dreaming about his future projects, I think. So that's one thing. So that was brought about simply wonderfully. I really thoroughly enjoyed the way you put it. Very nice speech making capacity, your vivid imagery what you created. Next you give it 3 more instances. One about accommodative in relationship in 1990, that accommodative. Accommodative is that one. And in 1990 about the competitive, how you become fiercely competitive. This is actually the outcome is about win-lose. Somebody has to lose, somebody has to win. That is about the competition. That he dealt with that. And then in 18-20 years that you have become a bit more matured, you are talking about compromising. That's what you try to introduce, which you can lose or you can sometimes win, but still you compromise on that. So that then finally 2008, when you started probably your own enterprise or project manager as did, you did about collaboration. This is looking for an outcome which is entirely different, but still it is satisfying. So that's what these are the 4 seasons you brought about, and you ended in a powerful manner telling that decide the reason and select the season. You decide whatever reason is outcome. So what way, these are all very nicely brought about. Where you could have done a bit more improvement was what I felt. If you had come down to the level of the audience, it would have been better, I felt. It went somewhere above the head for many of the persons, as my understanding is that. I too had to struggle to understand some of the concepts, and you could have dealt about the outcomes, the win-win situation, what it is, win-lose what it is, and a compromise. These are the 4 likely outcomes and what you are looking for. The speech also calls for style of intent to use in that, which you have brought out beautifully well, and you should also tell about the preferred outcome. You only told in the end that you decide the preferred outcome and then decide the strategy, rather the style. Fair enough, but with some examples if you had brought about, particularly the last 3 instances, just like that Hyderabad, the incident what you brought about, similar thing if you had brought out with more description, it would have been more understanding for the audience. That's what I felt. But otherwise, an amazing speech. Congratulations on that. I am very, very eager to listen to all your future speeches. All the best to you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, DTM MU Word. Mr. Nagesh Ramamurthy, I am seeing him first time. I think I am the person who have processed his membership application form. Today I could see the dilemma most of us might be having, like we are working, there is boss, there is some dream. So how to compromise or how to go into the future. So that was the sole takeaway from your speech. So good job done. Please give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Nagesh and Toastmaster MU, DTM MU University. Coming to the next session, table topic session, we had Toastmaster Sanjana Pravanjan taking up the session. She ensured that every member speaks. She gave a nice introduction for the table topic session, wherein she told we have to speak impromptu. There was a lot of topics on, like I thought the theme was around Karnataka Rajyotsav and November, where we celebrate the Day of Karnataka, and specifically Bangalore. I really enjoyed the session. If I have to give some suggestions, like all that intellectual suggestions, so it would be like this. Let us say, even I feel table topic sessions should be more informative. We should be in a position where our mind runs. It is not only the job here to come and speak, we have to think also. For example, if I say, she gave a question to Sai, what are the 3 places he would like to invite someone to Bangalore, or what is the best place in Karnataka, Toastmaster Mamata. So I would give, like, what can you suggest the government of Karnataka to make Karnataka a better tourist place? You know the Kerala, like they are highly on the top spot of marketing as a tourist state. What can you do for state of Karnataka? Or I would give a topic like we have recently launched one fast train from Chennai, Bangalore to Mysore. So that reduces time. So what does it affect? How does it help people in Bangalore? How does it affect in Mysore? So that kind of question I think would give a lot of intellectual thoughts. Like if I give, let us say, one young person who is, let us say Siva, who has joined recently to some organization, I would ask him, what do you feel about moonlighting? So we know about moonlighting, the people who work in alternate occupation. So that is a tech, like someone like me or some traditional person, they would not take that in a good manner. But for a person who is very young, they would take in their different perspective. So that will give more intellectual benefits to the table topic session. Like comparing CTR dosa and Vidyarthi Bhavan dosa, I am not sure it is going to take us to that. This is what I felt. I am sure that many of the audiences will also resonate with my thinking. So am I very critical or what? Huh? As a table topic master, like you have to keep your comments short. Your job is to give others to chance. Like Ujjwal was not clear what to speak about. Mamata had to take another topic. So that is my observation. I am sure you will take it in a positive spirit and work on this. And we see you a future leader in our club. You are VP membership, so perhaps next step is VP education and president. I'm sure you will going to take care of all these things. So we will move on to the evaluation from all the role takers. We have 4 role takers. I would request them to give their role evaluations. We would request timer Toastmaster Raja to give his evaluation of the timer.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So I'll be giving the time that you have actually spent doing each of these activities. So the first one is Sergeant at Arms, took 3 minutes 15 seconds, and President took 9 minutes 50 seconds, and Master of Ceremonies took 16 minutes, and the first speaker took 6 minutes 9 seconds. The second speaker took 5 minutes 49 seconds, and the third speaker took 7 minutes 18 seconds. And table topics master took 4 minutes 65 seconds, and all of the speakers who spoke, like, so we had like 10 speakers speaking for the table topics, and most of them are under 2. Maybe I'll just list down from 1 to 10, like what are the timings. So 1 minute, 1 minute 46 seconds, 1 minute 28 seconds, 1 minute 31, 2 minute 10 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds, 2 minute 15, and then 59 seconds, 1 minute 27, and 1 minute 55 seconds. So everything is under 2 minutes except for 2 speakers. And general evaluator took 14 minutes. Alright, that's my.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja. I liked the introduction he gave about the timer's role by bringing Avengers story of Time Stone. That was very different today. So please give him a big round of applause for taking up the job for the first time. Let us welcome Toastmaster Ujjwal, the counter of the meeting today.
A very happy evening once again. I thoroughly observed throughout the meeting, and I am glad that the use of crutch words were seldomly used. And I would like to mention that the 3 speakers who delivered their speech today were flawless. So kudos to that. Coming to my report, Sergeant Atoms Toastmaster Shiva 3 hours. Toastmaster of the day DTM AK Prabhakara 2 hours. Toastmaster Raja as the timer 3 hours, repeated word and 2 times. Toastmaster Sai Snehal 1 hour. Evaluator Toastmaster Jyoti 2 hours, 1 and 1 small pause. DTM MU Bhatt in the evaluation 4 hours, repeated word so 2 times. Toastmaster Sanjana in the table topic session 4 hours and 3 Ms. Coming to the table topic speakers, Toastmaster Shiva 2 hours, Toastmaster Sai Snehal 2 hours, Toastmaster Ujjwal 4 hours, myself, Toastmaster Pavani Kiran 1 hour, Toastmaster Raja 2 hours, Toastmaster Jyoti 3 hours, and lastly coming to the GE, Toastmaster Sandeep, till now 7 hours, 1 small pause and 1 crutch word like 3 times. Thank you, and over to you, G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ujjwal, for evaluating the general evaluator. We will request Toastmaster Sai Snehal for his PP evaluation.
Good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters and guests. While I was sitting there and doing my role as a PP evaluator, a realization dawned upon me. A PP evaluator's role is got to do less with the speaker behind the lectern and more ahead of the lectern, and that is where my responsibility comes. This is a small realization that dawned upon me. Coming to the report, nobody spoke about sex, religion or politics. There was no cross talks, and the entry and exit was done only during applause. Although we had a couple of phone rings, it was not loud enough for we to be disturbed anyone else, so in that case we can ignore it. Apart from that, the meeting was smooth, flawless and really fantastic. Thank you. Back to the seat.
So we have last role taker of the meeting today, grammarian Toastmaster Siva.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Let me start off my report with not so good usages. Fashioned clothing could have been fashionable clothing. When you say fashion, the meaning itself changes. Simple clothings could have been simple clothes. Everyone have judged could have been everyone has judged. Telling his father like this could have been telling his father. Think for the reason could have been think of the reason. Long distance cousin could have been distant cousin, distant relative. Good afternoon could have been good evening. Do it really nice could have been do it really well. Audience attendance could have been audience attention. No need for you to there could have been no need for that. More understanding for the audience could have been comprehensible to the audience, and seldomly used could have been seldom used. Coming to the good usages, construction parlance, convener, chalk out the plan, ventriloquist, malarial parasite, residue, brooded over it, tinkering, intermittently, newly minted, inborn urge, foraged the kitchen, surreal, refine my imagination, maneuverable, tryst, autonomous driving, all rolled into one, accommodate the situation, exorbitant bill, options enumerated, to our heart's content, affable, intellectual touch, and realization dawned upon me. Coming to the word of the day, I have to say I seldom noticed anybody using it. It was only used by 3 people: our Master of Ceremonies DTM AK Prabhakara, Speaker number 2 Toastmaster Sanjana HA, and Toastmaster Ujjwal. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Please give him a big round of applause. He has done a really fantastic job. Now I feel that the MC introduced me as a dry sense of humor. Now I feel dry sense of evaluation also. So we will finish it soon. And the last role I have to evaluate is MC's role, DTM AK Prabhakara. So DTM AK Prabhakara is a person in the club who commands respect from every member. And today was the today's speech was like any other speech of DTM AK Prabhakara. You get to know something about science and something about history. So today's speech was apple a day keeps the doctor away. That was a PJ he himself told. Other than that, the story of Vietnam War was new for me, and it was very informative. As any regular AKP speech, you get some information on science or technology. He introduced Toastmasters in nice manner, 1905, and how it developed in 1924 and how it is active today. He gave very good introductions. As a job of MC, he had very good introductions. He tried to build in the credibility of the speaker or the credibility of he tried to bring in excitement to the introduction before the speech. He seldom used notes. I could see he was giving introduction like he knows personally the role taker. That is a good thing, but I feel sometimes when we introduce, you just try to read from the book. That becomes very not so very human. If you look into the person and tell the introduction, it becomes very more human. So that was a good thing about MC. Very witty introduction to the table topic session by saying it is not negotiable. I am sure DTM AK Prabhakara is a person of written information. He, when I joined, he was in charge of ISO, that standardization organization in Mekong. So I feel he believes in written information. He ensures that everyone should write their profile about them in the website, so that no one has to ask him, give your introduction. You know about the person from the website, and we have a mean for that also. We have a website for the club. I'm sure, like if let us say the grandmother would have been told, I mean, imagine that the grandmother would have told the information to the granddaughter, her pumpkin would have been safe. So it is some kind of thing that you keep your information written so that everyone can access. And I'm sure this is what I could learn from DTM AK Prabhakara, and I'm sure I'm going to implement it if I take MC roles in next speech. So please give DTM AK Prabhakara a big round of applause for taking up the MC. I hope the general evaluation is done, and I would request for the general you can vote for the evaluator now. And so all in all, I enjoyed the meeting today, from table topic session to all the speeches and the MC. I could see one request. The speakers are requested to give printouts of the evaluation. Now that we have moved on to the physical meetings, I would request all the speakers to bring in their evaluation sheets printed so that they can get filled in here. And this is it. So back to the MC, DTM lecture provider.
Thank you, General Evaluator Sandeep Kumar Balayar Singh. I said he is affable, and he really was that, a personification of that. He also mentioned I pick up from science and technology area, and that is true, because I see that that space is very little used in Toastmaster Circle. I thought I should ensure, because we live in the era of knowledge and science and technology. We are every step of the way, we are there. And the reason I chose especially method and means, also there is a reason for that theme. We are always taught from childhood certain methods to do certain things, more so about problem solving. But in the practical world, we come across certain jams. At that point of time, we need to find out whether that is valid, or we have to update it and handle it in a different way altogether. And that is the reason I thought I should hold it up at this point of time. You will face a lot of problems as you go along in Toastmasters, also finding topics, and you have to find out ways and means to overcome that. And that's why Toastmasters is different from a different perspective, in the sense that it depends on study, action, feedback. You need to read, you have to decide your action, take the feedback, move on one step at a time. And this is what I just wanted to make on this note, that you always find a method, but also consider means or the tool or the medium before really making a go towards the solution. On this note, I would like to hand over the control back to Madam President Lalana Murthy.
Thank you, DTM A.K. Prabhakara, for that amazing session as always. And I did mention in his introduction that there's always something to learn whenever he takes up any role, and today was no different. And we also had a very insightful general evaluation session from Toastmaster Sandeep. He has his own way and his own style, so kudos to you for that. Coming to the feedback, as always, I request all our members to go to Pathways Base Camp and give your feedback to the respective role takers and speakers, and please do inform them about it. I hope all of you have voted. How many? 17. Oh, I think we have a full house today except for the 2 guests. So good to see that all of us are exercising our right to vote, and all of us are voting. Coming to the winners of today's meeting, the best role taker TAPG goes to Toastmaster Shiva Prasad. The best role taker MTG goes to Toastmaster Sanjana Prabanchan. The best evaluator is DTM MU Butt. The best table topic speaker is Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa. And the best speaker for today, that was a tough one. I think all of them were excellent. We had excellent speeches by all the three speakers. The best speaker is Toastmaster Pavani. With that, we come to the end of the meeting, and I now close meeting number 1186 and request everyone to raise for the national anthem.